People become enlightened, they feel like their way is the way, and they become self-righteous. I learned something, and therefore, because I know this, I'm different, and I'm better than other people because I have this knowledge. It doesn't give us the right to impose our beliefs onto other people. That is what has led to so many different wars as it relates to religion throughout the history of humanity. That is a trap, because we are all one. As we are on our spiritual journeys, our awakening path of learning who we are and what we're actually capable of doing and being, I want to remind us to not be so much on our high horse that we become self-righteous. What I mean by that is, a lot of times when you're learning new things and you're feeling enlightened or inspired by certain messages that help open up your brain and your mind to new potentials and possibilities in the spirit, a lot of times we want to share it with everybody. We want to make sure that everybody has the same information that we have and can understand things in the same way that we understand it. But the problem is, everybody's different, and everyone is on their own individual path and journey, and we are merely commingling with each other, coexisting. And regardless of our differences, at the core, we are all one. Everyone's soul is evolving at its own pace. It comes into this incarnation with its own lessons and its own, fate, so to speak, to unfold in a particular way. And so none of us have a right to impose what we believe onto others, and also to see ourselves as any better than someone because we know information or we understand things differently than they do. It's okay for us all to have our own opinions. It's okay for us all to have different perspectives. The divine chose to incarnate through the infinite. That is us. Infinite personalities, infinite souls. The divine chose to put us all here to coexist. Not to belittle, not to be self-righteous and judge and condemn one another. And we're all unique learners. No two people learn exactly the same, not even identical twins. And so we have to give one another grace. We have to understand that each individual is on their own soul's journey. And even our spouses, our siblings, our parents, everybody's on their own path. And a lot of times when you learn new information or you feel spiritually enlightened, you find yourself feeling like, if only they knew this information and processed the way I see it. But just because you see it a particular way doesn't mean that's the only truth. And just because you see it a particular way doesn't mean that that's the only way. If God wanted us all to be the same, we'd all be the same. One religion would exist, not many. And so I need you to take a step back, do a self-assessment, scan your reality, scan your most recent encounters, and ask yourself, in any way, did I present myself in a way that showed self-righteousness? Did I think to myself that my way is better and this person in front of me, their way is less than mine? Or their way of doing or being or existing is somehow less than my way of doing, being, and existing? Because that is a false illusion. And it's another thing that keeps us separate. You and I are not separate. But if we can respect one another and not judge and condemn one another for being different, and give each other the space and grace to be who we came here to be, not who the ego I want you to be. So many of us, our relationships go through cycles because we want others to be the way we want them to be. A lot of people, even in the manifestation community, are trying to recreate specific people to be the way they want them to be. But the thing is, if you can't change how you see that person internally, they're going to keep showing up the same. So the change happens within you. You have to change the way you see the person. You have to change what you expect from them. You have to change your judgments and condemnation and labels that you give them, so that in essence, energetically, you are changing how you present, and therefore they have to match your frequency of a new vision of how you're seeing them. That's why Neville teaches us to lift others on high. And he says when we do so, when we see others in their highest light meaning not necessarily how I want them to be, but the highest version of them, happy, healthy, vibrant, kind, all the good things. Neville Goddard teaches that when we see others in a higher light, if they come to us with a problem or we know they're struggling in some way, and we go within and we use our faculty of our wonderful human imagination to lift them on high and imagine them living their best life, being in their best I amness, thriving, happy, healthy, kind, loving. When we do that, he says that we are in essence mediating God to that person. That to me is even more effective than a conversation. Neville says when you do this, you don't even need to tell the person. Just do it. Because God works in miraculous ways. They get downloads just like you do. They have moments of enlightenment just like you do. It just may look different. And your way is no better than anybody's way. Their way is right for them. Your way is right for you. No one ever needs to impose one way or the other onto anyone else. Just acknowledge and appreciate the contrast, as Abraham and Esther Hicks teaches. We don't get into relationship with people for them to be us. Get into relationship with people so that we can experience the contrast and enjoy their uniqueness. And so, as my mom would always say, let people be. Let them be. And if you mean them well, you'll wish them well. In your human imagination, you'll see them in their highest light. And you won't sit on a high horse and feel yourself or find yourself to be self-righteous. You'll love them as they are, knowing that whatever path the divine has for them is perfectly unfolding. And that your prayers of well wishes for them is helping to amplify their goodness, amplify their blessings. And that is how you are mediating God to them, starting within you. This is your reminder. This is also your reminder to please follow me on YouTube, where you can find more of my content, especially as we enter the unknown space of what will happen with TikTok. I love and appreciate each and every one of you. I pray that anything that I share on this platform helps you, benefits you in some way. That is my contribution to this planet at this time, space, reality. And just know that it's done in love. Love for myself and love for my fellow brethren. You got this.